Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Engineering and Technology, SOET, Postgraduate Certificate in Inventory Planning and Warehousing System for Engineers, PGCIPWS. MWR01 Introduction to Inventory Planning and Control. Block 1 Basic Concept of Inventory. Unit 3 Inventory Classification. 3.1 Introduction. In modern competitive world, the major problem and primary responsibility of an organization, whether it is a public sector, private sector or government department, business or industry, is to optimize the use of resources. For the survival and growth of an industrial enterprise, it is highly essential that all the pervasive efforts are made to minimize and control the total costs to achieve higher operational efficiency and profitability of an organization. Inventory is an important resource of an enterprise. Inventory management is an important scientific device for controlling inventory and eliminating wastage, is considered an integral part of industrial management in modern times. Modern management has started taking more and more interest in inventory management as inventories are highly essential for any enterprise, and at the same time it has a direct impact on the financial resource, as it locks up funds. There are a lot of possibilities to minimize inventory, both in terms of investment as well as quality, as it is a controllable variable. Objectives. After studying this unit, you should be able to explain various types of inventories, differentiate between different types of demand inventory, define the role of various types of inventories. 3.2 Types of inventories. Inventory can be classified as follows. I. On the basis of type of demand, independent, dependent, and E. On the basis of nature of use, raw materials, work in process, finished goods, etc. Independent demand inventory. Demand for such type of inventory occurs independent of demand for any other product or service. Dependent demand inventory. Demand for such type of inventory is dependent on the product demand. Examples are raw materials and work in process materials. Inventory may be classified into following three categories. 1. Manufacturing aspects. 2. Service aspects. And 3. Control aspects. These along with their further classification has been shown in figure 3.1. A detailed discussion of each of the three classification follows thereafter. Look at the screen. 1. Manufacturing inventory. Inventory held by a manufacturing concern in mainly of 5 types. Production inventory. Items going into final products such as raw materials, components and sub-assemblies purchased from outside from production inventory. Raw materials are inventory items that are used in the manufacturer's conversion process to produce components, sub-assemblies, or finished products. These inventory items may be commodities or extracted materials that the firm or its subsidiary has produced or extracted. They also may be objects or elements that the firm has purchased from outside the organization. Even if the item is partially assembled or is considered a finished good to the supplier, the purchaser may classify it as raw material if his or her firm had no input into its production. Typically, raw materials are commodities such as ore, grain, minerals, petroleum, chemicals, paper, wood, paint, steel, and food items. However, items such as nuts and bolts, ball bearings, keystock, casters, seats, wheels, and even engines may be regarded as raw materials if they are purchased from outside the firm. The Bill of Materials file in a Material Requirements Planning System, MRP, or a Manufacturing Resource Planning, MRP2, system utilizes a tool known as a product structure tree to clarify the relationship among its inventory items and provide a basis for filling out, or exploding, the master production schedule. Consider an example of a rolling cart. This cart consists of a top that is pressed from a sheet of steel, a frame made from 4 steel bars, and a leg assembly consisting of 4 legs rolled from sheet steel, each with a caster attached. An example of this cart's product structure tree is presented in figure 1. Look at the screen. Figure 3.2, Bill of Material. Generally, raw materials are used in the manufacture of components. These components are then incorporated into the final product or become part of a sub-assembly. Sub-assemblies are then used to manufacture or assemble the final product. A part that goes into making another part is known as a component, while the part it goes into is known as its parent. Any item that does not have a component is regarded as a raw material or purchased item. From the product structure tree, it is apparent that the rolling cart's raw materials are steel, bars, wheels, ball bearings, axles, and caster frames. Work in process inventory. Under this, all items in semi-finished form or products at different stages of production are included. Work in process, WIP, is made up of all the materials, parts, components, assemblies, and sub-assemblies that are being processed or are waiting to be processed within the system. This generally includes all material, from raw material that has been released for initial processing up to material that has been completely processed and is awaiting final inspection and acceptance before inclusion in finished goods. Any item that has a parent but is not a raw material is considered to be work in process. A glance at the rolling cart product structure tree example reveals that work in process in this situation consists of tops, leg assemblies, frames, legs, and casters. Actually, the leg assembly and casters are labeled as sub-assemblies because the leg assembly consists of legs and casters, and the casters are assembled from wheels, ball bearings, axles, and caster frames. Finished goods inventory. This includes the products ready for dispatch to users or to distributors. A finished good is a completed part that is ready for a customer order. Therefore, finished goods inventory is the stock of completed products. These goods have been inspected and have passed final inspection requirements so that they can be transferred out of work in process and into finished goods. Inventory. From this point, finished goods can be sold directly to their final user, sold to retailers, sold to wholesalers, sent to distribution centers, or held in anticipation of a customer order. Any item that does not have a parent can be classified as a finished good. By looking at the rolling cart product structure tree example, one can determine that the finished good in this case is a cart. Inventories can be further classified according to the purpose they serve. These types include transit inventory, buffer inventory, anticipation inventory, decoupling inventory, cycle inventory, and MRO goods inventory. Some of these also are known by other names, such as speculative inventory, safety inventory, and seasonal inventory. We already have briefly discussed some of the implications of a few of these inventory types, but will now discuss each in more detail. MRO inventory. Maintenance, repairs and operating supplies like spare parts and consumable stores, which do not go into final product but are consumed in the production process, form this inventory. Maintenance, repair, and operating supplies, or MRO goods, are items that are used to support and maintain the production process and its infrastructure. These goods are usually consumed as a result of the production process but are not directly a part of the finished product. Examples of MRO goods include oils, lubricants, coolants, janitorial supplies, uniforms, gloves, packing material, tools, nuts, bolts, screws, shim stock, and key stock. Even office supplies such as staples, pens and pencils, copier paper, and toner are considered part of MRO goods inventory. Transit inventory. Transit inventories result from the need to transport items or material from one location to another, and from the fact that there is some transportation time involved in getting from one location to another. Sometimes this is referred to as pipeline inventory. Merchandise shipped by truck or rail can sometimes take days or even weeks to go from a regional warehouse to a retail facility. Some large firms, such as automobile manufacturers, employ freight consolidators to pool their transit inventories coming from various locations into one shipping source in order to take advantage of economies of scale. Of course, this can greatly increase the transit time for these inventories, hence an increase in the size of the inventory in transit. Buffer inventory. As previously stated, inventory is sometimes used to protect against the uncertainties of supply and demand, as well as unpredictable events such as poor delivery reliability or poor quality of a supplier's products. These inventory cushions are often referred to as safety stock. Safety stock or buffer inventory is any amount held on hand that is over and above that currently needed to meet demand. Generally, the higher the level of buffer inventory, the better the firm's customer service. This occurs because the firm suffers fewer stockouts when a customer's order cannot be immediately filled from existing inventory, and has less need to back order the item, make the customer wait until the next order cycle. Or even worse, cause the customer to leave empty-handed to find another supplier. Obviously, the better the customer service, the greater the likelihood of customer satisfaction. Anticipation inventory. Oftentimes, firms will purchase and hold inventory that is in excess of their current need in anticipation of a possible future event. Such events may include a price increase, a seasonal increase in demand, or even an impending labor strike. This tactic is commonly used by retailers, who routinely build up inventory months before the demand for their products will be unusually high, i.e., at Halloween, Christmas, or the back-to-school season. For manufacturers, anticipation inventory allows them to build up inventory when demand is low, also keeping workers busy during slack times, so that when demand picks up, the increased inventory will be slowly depleted and the firm does not have to react by increasing production time, along with the subsequent increase in hiring, training, and other associated labor costs. Therefore, the firm has avoided both excessive overtime due to increased demand and hiring costs due to increased demand. It also has avoided layoff costs associated with production cutbacks, or worse, the idling or shutting down of facilities. This process is sometimes called smoothing because it smoothens the peaks and valleys in demand, allowing the firm to maintain a constant level of output and a stable workforce. Decoupling inventory. Very rarely, if ever, will one see a production facility where every machine in the process produces at exactly the same rate. In fact, one machine may process parts several times faster than the machines in front of or behind it. Yet, if one walks through the plant, it may seem that all machines are running smoothly at the same time. It also could be possible that while passing through the plant, one notices several machines are under repair or are undergoing some form of preventive maintenance. Even so, this does not seem to interrupt the flow of work in process through the system. The reason for this is the existence of an inventory of parts between machines, a decoupling inventory that serves as a shock absorber, cushioning the system against production irregularities. As such, it decouples or disengages the plant's dependence upon the sequential requirements of the system, i.e., one machine feeds parts to the next machine. The more inventory a firm carries as a decoupling inventory between the various stages in its manufacturing system, or even distribution system, the less coordination is needed to keep the system running smoothly. Naturally, logic would dictate that an infinite amount of decoupling inventory would not keep the system running in peak form. A balance can be reached that will allow the plant to run relatively smoothly without maintaining an absurd level of inventory. The cost of efficiency must be weighed against the cost of carrying excess inventory so that there is an optimum balance between inventory level and coordination within the system. Cycle inventory. Those who are familiar with the concept of economic order quantity, EOQ, know that the EOQ is an attempt to balance inventory holding or carrying costs with the costs incurred from ordering or setting up machinery. When large quantities are ordered or produced, inventory holding costs are increased, but ordering, setup costs decrease. Conversely, when lot sizes decrease, inventory holding, carrying costs decrease, but the cost of ordering, setup increases since more orders, setups are required to meet demand. When the two costs are equal, holding, carrying costs and ordering, setup costs, the total cost, the sum of the two costs, is minimized. Cycle inventories, sometimes called lot size inventories, result from this process. Usually, excess material is ordered and, consequently, held in inventory in an effort to reach this minimization point. Hence, cycle inventory results from ordering in batches or lot sizes rather than ordering material strictly as needed. Miscellaneous inventory. Items other than these mentioned above, such as scrap, obsolete, and unsaleable products arising from main production, stationery used in office and other items needed by office, factory and sales department, etc., constitute this point 2, service inventory. This consists of following four classes. A. Lot size. This means purchasing in lots. This is resorted I. to obtain quantity discounts, E. to reduce transportation and purchase costs, and To minimize handling and receiving goods costs. It would be uneconomical for a textile unit to buy cotton every day rather than in bulk during the cotton season. B. Anticipation stocks. These are kept to meet predictable changes in demand or unavailability of raw materials. The purchase of potatoes in the potato season for sale of roots and such other preservation products throughout the year is an example of this kind. C. Fluctuation stocks. These are carried to ensure ready supplies to consumer or customer to face irregular fluctuations in their demands. D. Risk stocks. These are the items needed to ensure that there is no risk of complete breakdown of production. These are items with long lead time for supply but are vital and critical for production. 3.3 Inventory classification on the basis of control. 3.3.1 ABC classification. A good start in examining an inventory control system is to make ABC classification. It is known as ABC analysis, which means control will be always better if we start with ABC of inventory. This concept divides inventories into three groupings in terms of percentage of number of items and percentage of total value as given in figure 3.3a and 3.3b. A items group constitutes 10% of the total number of items and 70% of the total money value for all the items. B items group constitutes 20% of the total number of items and 20% of the total money value for all the items. C items group is just opposite of A items group. It constitutes 70% of the total numbers of items and 10% of the total value. This classification provides clear-cut indications for fixing priorities of control of the items. A class items must receive the attention first in every control operation, i.e., tight control, sound operating doctrine, attention to security etc. 3.3.2 Weight classification. Weight stand for V for vital, A for essential and D for desirable. Weight classification, vital, essential and desirable, describes the nature of the inventory, and this classification is based on judgment, experience, etc. Vital items are very important and are must for production. Essential items are required items but have less important compared to vital items. The desirable items are not compulsory items but add some aesthetics to the main product. Of ABC and weight classifications, ABC inventory control is preferred due to its cost-related aspects, i.e., consumption value of items. Some organizations use combination of both ABC and weight inventory control techniques to optimize the costs associated with the inventory. The same is explained below. ABC classification coupled with weight classification, vital, essential on desirable, enhances is based on proportionate value, while weight classification is based on judgment, experience, etc. As illustrated in figure 3.4, the total number of categories is 9. Look at the screen. 3.4 Summary. Inventory management is an important scientific device for controlling inventory and eliminating wastage, is considered an integral part of industrial management in modern times. Modern management has started taking more and more interest in inventory management, as inventories are highly essential for any enterprise, and at the same time it has a direct impact on the financial resource, as it locks up funds. There are a lot of possibilities to minimize inventory, both in terms of investment as well as quality, as it is a controllable variable. The various types of inventories are described and their importance are also explained. Inventory can be classified on the basis of type of demand as independent and dependent. On the basis of nature of use, inventory can be in the form of raw materials inventory, work in process inventory, or finished goods inventory. The classification of the inventory, such as ABC and weight inventory control, is also explained with illustrations. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.